Good morning and welcome back to Coaching in PJs. My name is Pamela S. Thibodeau. I'm your life coach, and today I have a surprise for you. Today we have a guest. His name is Paul Briley, and I'm going to let him take over. Paul, thank you for coming and tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do and how we met.
Awesome. Thank you, Pamela. And what an honor it is to be here and be among your first guests as you continue to grow your channels. So thank you for that. I am an explorer by heart and by nature. So that kind of frames a little bit about me. I'll share more about that and then get into the professional kind of details. But I've always been curious. I always like to wonder. I love traveling, even if it's in my own neighborhood. I love walking and seeing what's around and discovering new things. And so I think that has really influenced the things that I'm currently doing and that I have done professionally. I have a career history in corporate training and development, so learning new things, repackaging things in order to be able to teach employees at all levels, new things for how to do their job and new skills and management and leadership techniques, amongst many, many other things. I am an ICF certified life coach, so I love going on the journey with clients to help them kind of unpack and uncover and discover things about themselves to accomplish the things that they want and the goals that they set for themselves. I have a podcast called Off the Comma, and it's all about exploring stories of where people have been stuck in their lives and what it was like for them to experience it, what they learned from it, and then, subsequently what it was like for them to get unstuck. When and if that was the case. Sometimes people show up with stories and they're still stuck. So it's great to see what other people's experiences are like, and then for us to be inspired and learn from other people who are just like us and normal everyday people, and sometimes normal everyday people who have done some pretty extraordinary things too.
That is all wonderful. And I know what it is to be stuck. And we met whenever I was a guest on your podcast, Off the Comma. And I love just the name of it was like, oh, this is amazing. And we have so much in common, you and I. I love to travel. That's my big thing. I also have a travel blog. I like to I like to say I hate to drag the roads, but I love to travel. So anyway, so being a certified life coach, what are some of the common things that you come across with people in trying to change their life or build a new life or whatever the situation may be?
I would say, among the things that I have observed and noticed over the years that I have worked with other people, obviously it goes without saying that how much alike we all are in terms of the types of things that we come up against. But I would say, of all the different things that people have experienced, usually what is most difficult for them at any given point in time has to do with our mindset, our thinking, our beliefs, and our expectations. So usually that's where the conversation goes. Sometimes it's about, not knowing what I want or not knowing where I want to go or how to get there. But a lot of it comes down to fundamental beliefs in our ability, capability, fears, worries, doubts, anxieties, mindsets, in terms of being overwhelmed or being stressed or being anxious, and worldviews, which comes back to beliefs of whether I can or can't do something, whether I can or can't have something. So I guess I would kind of summarize that by saying most of the time what we're working on is mindset work, which then opens up doors to possibility when we change some of our mindsets and our beliefs.
You are so correct. I agree with you 100% on that. That's what I've found with clients myself. And that's the reason I started this channel, is because so many people, they just need those little tips, tricks, and hacks that if they implement them, it'll make a difference. And of course, we all know that it's up to the listener or up to the person to make that choice and make that decision.
Mm,
And implementing sometimes takes a while. The change sometimes takes a while. But if you hang in there and you don't give up, you will see difference in your life. You will see a change, a growth in yourself and your circumstances, and that affects everybody around you.
yeah.
So, do you have a couple of tips, tricks, or hacks that you could share with our
I
audience?
I do. I have a few, and I think what I'll add to what I said before and what you just said is that one of the things that I do as a coach and the role that I play is to recognize that as adults, we are all able, capable, and self-sufficient human beings. In most cases, obviously, there are times and there are people in certain situations and circumstances where there are significant limitations. For the most part, the average person that I'm working with in coaching, the role that I play is to remind them of their own possibility, their own potential, and their own capability. And while I can certainly give a lot of advice, often the most effective thing to do is to help that person self discover the knowledge and the wisdom that is within themselves and have them come up with their own ideas and suggestions and action plans and approaches and so forth. And that has dramatically changed how I see myself in the world and how I go about giving advice these days. And so I'm not perfect. I still sometimes I can't resist the compulsion to tell people how to live their lives or to give advice and so forth. But now when I do, it's really more about, these are things that I do, and what I'm about to share are things that I have kind of come to and learned at this point in my life. And if they resonate with you, then find the ways to make them work for you. And if they don't, then, it's not meant for you. So, yeah. So that's kind of how I approach things now. It's like, this is what I do. This is how it works for me. You figure out how it might work for you and decide if it works for you. So,
Yeah, and we all are. I even put on my channel. I'm a firm believer that we're all life coaches because anytime we share wisdom or knowledge or experience with somebody else to help them through whatever it is they may be going through, you're coaching them. You may not realize it, may not put it that way, but you're a coach. So I think it's
mm,
that you feel, the kind of the same way that this is what I've done and this is what, you can make it work for you in some way, shape, or form. This is a great thing to
mm,
try.
mm.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that from you. So give us a couple.
Yeah, okay. Well, the first thing that I have really learned most in my life as I come to this stage of my life is coming to know myself, like really getting to know myself. And so that means a lot of different things. It means taking the accumulation of all of my life experiences, all of the things I've learned in my life, all of the beliefs and expectations and mindsets, that I was referring earlier, and really striving every day to know myself more fully. And that means a lot of different things. It means recognizing who I am, recognizing what motivates me. It means recognizing what kind of beliefs that I hold about myself that are empowering and also that are limiting, recognizing my capacity, my capability, my abilities. Getting to know myself more and understand myself more accomplishes a couple of things. One, it keeps me focused on my own business and minding my own business, which I think is really important in today's world. And it also helps me set more effective intentions and goals and kind of ambitions for the things that I want in life and where I want to go in life. I recognize and appreciate myself for all of it, the good, the bad, and the ugly. I love the good things about myself. I'm learning to appreciate the fact that I also have dark sides and dark habits or bad habits and things that I don't necessarily always appreciate about myself. And also the things that, are within my capacity to change. And all of it is a part of me. And as I was younger, I fought some of the things and probably spent too much time being proud of some of the things. And now I kind of accept it all as a basket of who I am. And I apologize less for who I am these days.
That's wonderful. And one of the things about getting to know yourself, really coming to understand yourself, is that people have to be brutally honest. You've got to really be honest because you can't create a new life from an old person, from old mindsets or whatever. It takes change.
Mm,
And some people don't want to change. Some people don't like to change, but some people are just ready for something new. And if you're ready for something new, there's got to be a new perspective to go into that area or
yeah.
into that new experience.
I think one of the things that I realize and that I, would invite other people to realize is if you resist something or if you believe that maybe you have done something wrong or you've been down the wrong path or maybe there's something that's not working for you, you can change. And it doesn't have to be a matter of you being wrong or broken. If you come to realize that maybe something isn't working in your life and you want to do something different about it, or you're unhappy with the results that you're getting, you can simply make the decision to do something different. I think about, here's kind of a silly example. I'm learning Spanish. I learned a little bit of Spanish in school. And then in my adult life, I kept wanting to learn Spanish again and again. And over the past couple of years, I committed to it and started making more investments in it and working on it consistently and so forth. But there was a point where I would be around Spanish speakers and I would feel bad about myself for not being able to speak Spanish, right? For not having learned another language. And it always felt like, well, that's just impossible. I couldn't learn another language or whatever until one day I realized I can learn a language. And so it didn't have to be something that I felt guilty for or regretted and that sort of thing. I literally recognized that it's like, well, I can start today and start learning a language. It may not be easy, it may not be quick, but I can literally change this fundamental belief about myself.
Well, I love that. I love that. I love the thing about changing beliefs. And, sometimes those beliefs are real deeply set in our subconscious, and sometimes others are really easy to change. So, can you
Hmm.
give us another tip or trick that you have for a life hack that helps people
Yes.
live a more fulfilled life?
Yes, in order for me to accomplish that first thing that I shared, which is really coming to know myself, I had to also let others be themselves. So this means a couple of different things. By putting the attention on me and my own growth and my own opportunities and my own development, I recognize two things. One, if I'm doing this and experiencing this, then probably others are as well. So others have a right to their own journey and their own experiences and their own business. And so, on the one hand, I recognize that I need to just like let other people be who they are. There's nothing there that I need to be changing or fixing. I have a lifelong history of being kind of like a problem solver and a people pleaser and a fixer and so forth. And so I started stopping. Can I say that? I started letting go of that behavior, and part of it was the coach training too, making me recognize that it's like if people want your help, they'll ask. Or if you want to offer help, you can ask them. But people have their own knowledge and wisdom and life experiences, and they're gonna live their journey as well. So I have to let other people be themselves, regardless of what I think about it and regardless of what I believe about it. I don't have to approve of other people, and other people don't have to approve of me.
That is so true. And one of the things I've learned is that whenever, if you're trying to change somebody, you're actually trying to change them, you get in God's way and you stop their growth.
Mm,
So it's really a good thing to kind of take your hands off and say, as a coach, we know that, just let them
mhm.
be, let them make their decisions. If they come back with other questions, then help them dive deep into those questions or what have you. And I love
Yeah,
what Kyle Cease says about it. He says, you don't have to dig deep and find out the root of everything. You just kind of let it go. You just got to let it come up, you know, and let it go. And
yeah.
it's
Well,
usually
and
easier, you probably have a lot less drama and trauma if you learn to do that.
sure, and in everyday lives, right? You don't have to be a coach to be able to recognize that other people are a mirror of you, and if there's something about someone else that you're uncomfortable with, or questioning, or want to change or fix, that's probably a reflection of something within you that you need to be looking at. So, again, like my second tip, let others be themselves, points me back to my first tip, which is continue to get to know myself, right?
Right. I love it. I love how you can connect them together.
Hmm.
So, well, it looks like we've been here for a little while. Do you have anything else you'd like to share?
Yep, one short one, and it's sort of related to the first two, but maybe it's not. So I think it is. That is whatever it is you're wanting to do in life, do it. Do it now, or do it as soon as you can. Now, this is a rich and complex kind of tip. So, many of us here in the West, in the United States, believe that we need to hold off on doing all the things until we retire, right? And then we're going to have the time, and then we're going to have the freedom. But I'm telling you, my experience has been like that is not going to be the case. I know a handful of people who have retired and now suddenly they're dealing with other kind of problems and challenges in their lives, and they don't have the bandwidth to go do the things that they wanted to. So, however you can, in whatever way you can, start asking for more for yourself and, set a date, set an amount, buy the ticket, whatever the case might be. If there's something you've secretly been wanting to do, start looking at how you can do it now, even if it's baby steps, even if it's little parts and pieces. I've been skydiving twice. I travel. I've been to different places around the world, and I'm very lucky and I'm very fortunate to have been able to do that. And I'm by myself, so I'm able to do those things, without a whole lot of discussion and decision making with others. But whether it's starting that business or reading that book, or, starting that exercise plan, or playing a sport, or writing a book, or starting a podcast, or don't wait until you're retired to do that thing, because you have just as much chance of basically signing up for regret as you do doing the things that you want.
I agree. I agree so much. You know, we only have today. We're not even promised tomorrow. We're not even
Mm-hmm.
promised an hour from now. And everybody says that. I mean, you can listen to any spiritual growth or personal development person. They'll say, don't die with your gift in you and don't die with your dream in you.
Mm-hmm.
And, I believe that the dreams that are in our heart are put there by God. And you would be surprised that when you take just that first step toward that dream, the doors that are going to open for you to fulfill it. And I think that's beautiful advice. And I thank you so much for sharing that with us. Well, I appreciate you coming by, Paul. I'd like to speak to the listeners now a little bit. I want to thank you for joining us here on Coaching in PJs. If you like and enjoy the content, please subscribe and share it with others. If you'd like to work with me one-on-one as a coach, my email is in the show notes. Paul has given us a blog post that will be up on the Coaching in PJ's blog that talks about these tips and a few others that he shared with us. And a link to him to find him is in the show notes as well. Until next time, be kind to one another, be kind to yourself, and I hope your kindness returns to you 100-fold. See you soon.
Thank you, Pam.
Thank you.